before we get started to talk about the position, maybe we can have David introduce about himself. Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Diana?
Good.
So I've been in IT and management specifically for about 18 years, running the gamut from large, medium, and small companies. Most recently at Regeneron, last 2 years, I've been here setting up the desktop engineering center of excellence, if you will, in the organization. When I started here, we were about 1,400 people, and I think we just passed over 2,200, actually. The slide's a little outdated. So it is an exciting place to be. You can read about some of the other things that are on this on the slide, but it's an exciting company to work in.
Thank you, Dave. Let's talk about the positions itself. Now, let me ask you, what skills are required to be successful in this position?
Well, there's certain skills that are that I see are applicable across all of IT. So IT is a service to the rest of the organization. So customer service skills are really important to any position that we have, as well as communication skills, the ability to be fluent across all the different folks that you'd be communicating to. So from a high level, the executives down to the person in the mailroom who needs your help. That's important to be able to tailor your communication, both verbal as well as written, across that gamut of folks. And then more specifically, good troubleshooting skills are important because we're always faced with new things. And the ability to think from a process perspective. So desktop engineering is not just about bringing or fixing things for people. It's about creating process that really engineers the issues out of the system. So the goal is to reduce the amount of calls, reduce the tickets, reduce the requests, automate things down the path. So that kind of thinking is important to this as a skill set.
What kind of background is required to be successful in this role?
So you see a few things on the slide right now, testing and configuring new hardware and software, and being able to do that effectively. In other words, rather than just sort of an ad hoc way, oh yeah, it works for me, but think, how is that going to work for the various user groups out there, from scientists to executives to information workers. Working with some of the mobile management tools out there. Ideally, it would be some of the newer things, an AirWatch, Mobile Iron are the top of the list at this point in time. But any kind of management system experience is good from a background perspective. Providing executive level support is another one because it highlights the customer service things that we're looking into. We are an iOS shop, so basically an Apple iOS shop primarily. So having some understanding of what it takes to sign a cert for in-house distribution is nice, is a nice-to-have background, because the process is fairly complex, and having somebody who understands that would be helpful.
Thank you, Dave. Can you help us understand what qualities are required to be successful in this position?
Well, my management style is pretty hands-off. I'm not a sort of a micromanager, if you will, so I need somebody who can take ownership of the things that they need, of their area of expertise, be a self-starter in that place, to use that overused term. Really to hit the ground running, somebody who can acquire information quickly and be able to produce that in a usable format. So somebody who isn't sitting there waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. So those kind of qualities. Also, it'd be nice if they got along with people. Because we interact with not just IT, but we talk to the business a lot. We're solving issues with these tool sets across the entire spectrum of the business. From again, from the executive level, that's actually the easiest part. But we talk about process in the labs or in the qualification areas or the manufacturing areas, and they want to use these tools to enhance their process. So being able to understand what people are, what issues they're being faced with, and to be able to come up with solutions is important.
Now, I know Regeneron is fast-growing. We are adding a lot of positions to the team. And why is this position being created?
Well, about a year and a half ago, we started with our commercial folks with these devices. They all got iPads. They all got phones. We created a very small MDM solution to be able to provide support. Most of my folks were focused on the Mac desktop, the PC desktop, and packaging applications. And so I held within my own area of responsibilities the mobile device support and strategies. And at this point, we have 1,400 devices out there, and we're looking at 1,600 in the next month or two. Next year, it'll probably be more like 2,200 to 2,500 devices. So the area is expanding rapidly. We're also looking at things like BYOD and coming up with strategies around that. And so this position is really important because we need an area of focus that's not just, it's beyond the scope of me doing it part-time or somebody else doing it part-time. We really need somebody focused on this position and this segment of the business.
Thank you. And can you also help us understand your expectations as to what does success look like in the first 90 days?
Sure. So we do a lot of things at the same time, if you will. So we're replacing our mobile device management system right now. We're coming up with a mobile application strategy right now. These are things that this person would be intimately involved with, and they're in process right now, and they're expected to come to fruition within the next 90 days. So really taking charge of that from a desktop engineering standpoint, and making those projects successful, as well as developing capabilities around sharing your personal data, so from your Mac to your PC to your mobile device, and being able to seamlessly access that information. Those are things that would be critical within the first 90 days.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dave, for answering our 5 questions today. So anyone who is interested on the call this afternoon will receive an email with the link so that you can apply directly to this opportunity. Please check your inbox shortly.
And at this time, I want to remind everybody, if you do have any questions, please enter those questions into the question chat box there on the right side of your screen. In just a moment, we will begin to ask those questions to both Diana and David. And Diana, we have a couple of questions here that we have in queue. I'll start with the first one. Where is this position located?
Well, this position is located in our corporate headquarters in Tarrytown, New York, which is about an hour from New York City.
Can you share some examples of issues that I might face on any given day?
There's a wide variety of things that you would be faced with on any given day. Some things are not necessarily issues, but might be project requests. So there might be, there's currently a project request right now to set up what we call ELN, which is Electronic Lab Notebook, a suite of software on a mobile device. So it would be intimately involved in working on that project. It would be a day-to-day responsibility, as well as there may be other requirements for developing installations for specific applications, for not necessarily developing the application, but creating the way in which that application gets deployed to the devices. We get 4 to 6 requests a week for new applications in the environment across the board. And then there might be something related to, there's a global issue with, we've deployed an application and it's having an issue, and it's determined that there is a wide-scale issue, so we'd be looking at root cause for that. Whether it's the application doesn't load, or it's not sending the information back, or something like that.
I have 7 years of mobile support experience in an organization that has currently has 800 users. We are a BlackBerry organization. Will this determine your interest in my background?
To me, in a certain sense, mobile is mobile. It'd be nice to have a little bit more experience with specific technologies that we're working with, but it's certainly you've got the experience. It's somebody we'd interview anyway.
Right, and from my understanding, Dave, and also the overall experience in desktop support is also important, right?
It is important. So the other pieces around it are, how do you think about the work? So if you're somebody who just goes out and fixes and does the day-to-day job, that's one thing. If you're somebody who looks at the way process is happening and actively looks for ways to improve process and productivity for the end users, that's a big plus.
Can you share information on the specific tools that are used to monitor your users?
So we have specific management tools to manage our devices. We actually have 3 right now. So for the Macs, we're using something called Casper Suite, which is made by a company called Jamf. For the PCs, we're looking at Use SECM, which is made by Microsoft. And for the iOS devices, the mobile devices, right now we're using a company called Tango, which is a niche player, and we are switching over, that's that project I was referring to earlier, to AirWatch.
Will this position require me to provide simple phone support, or will this be a very technical role?
So it is a technical role. Most of the support we do is not to an end user. Most of the support we're doing is for the technician who's handling the direct customer interaction, though there may be some instances where we're providing direct support, but those are fairly rare.
How many people are you looking to add to the group? And then there's a follow-up there. What will the support group look like in the next few months to meet the demand of adding 1,600 devices?
So to clarify, the desktop engineering team isn't targeted to provide direct support. What we do is we create the tools, the process, and the standards for end user support. And then there's another support team out there who handles the day-to-day direct support for the end users in terms of troubleshooting issues, in terms of deploying applications and handling the support. We are their support mechanism in terms of if they have a large-scale issue, and we're also the people who create the process that they end up using.
Okay, great. And as a reminder to everybody on the call today, you will receive an email with a link very shortly after the call today so that you can apply directly to the opportunity. All applications will be reviewed in a timely manner, and that will be run through Diana G., who is the staff consultant on the call today. Diana,
yeah.
David, thank you very much for coming on today and sharing some great information. It's been a wonderful call, and good luck to everybody who has an interest in learning more.